Good afternoon, Scott Redler, T3 Live, a very special segment. I'm standing here with my friend Gloria. We met at actually Equinox at the gym where I was working out, where I go every day, which everyone knows. And she was here with a film crew putting together that docu-series with CCTV, one of the most prestigious docu-series that have been put together almost, I would say, in China's history.
It's the largest documentary commissioned by CCTV and the only one of its kind because it's the first one about financial history. It's 10 episodes, so.
And how is the response? How is it received in China?
You know, people in China are loving anything that has to do with financial history, markets, economics, whatever. So the CCTV 2 series that we did is on the Finance Channel. So obviously it did really well. I think we got about 800 million viewers. So it's on a completely different scale.
800 million viewers. So if I go to China, will people recognize this face?
I don't know. Maybe that face.
Well, it was actually funny how we met because they asked the management of Equinox, could we talk to a Wall Street trader? So they knew me, they knew that I'd been on CNBC, so they introduced us, and then we just got more and more involved. I told her a little bit about my mantra, about how, you know, the routine from early in the morning to late at night, the traders that come in that are transparent, and that was really big for the Chinese people to see that because they value transparency, they value openness, and they want honesty. And they also saw the gold video, and they tend to like to know the direction of gold, which we've happened to predict from time to time.
And you know what else? What's very hot right now is jade. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but
yeah, jade's that green jewel.
but there's this very special type of jade that's very rare, and it kind of changes colors as it ages. So there's indication of wealth, and it's kind of like the new gold right now. And people are going crazy over trading jade.
Can you trade jade on the open markets?
Not open, but there's marketplaces, and you can buy and sell, and it's kind of a collector's item because it doubled its value in a matter of months. So it's kind of like the new real estate of 2010-11. So
that's interesting, you know. And on TV, I feel like you're always seeing that China is a new engine of growth. That the U.S. is still first, but we're like not too far behind. How's that as far as a country? Are you guys feeling? Is that pride? That's kind of new, and you guys are so young and moving so fast. It must be taking the country by storm.
I think people in China are definitely proud because there's always been a sense of nationalism. I mean, I don't think that you will find many nations that are as nationalistic as Chinese people. I remember during the Olympics, the thousands upon thousands of volunteers that literally gave up their summers just to volunteer, even just to pick up a can of soda right by the bird's nest. To them, they felt really good about it. So I think after 2008, you really saw a strengthening and increase of that national pride. That already is really strong. So China definitely does feel like there's a very bright future, especially with the recession, of the U.S. and China didn't really get too much of that. I mean, you didn't really feel that there was any kind of economic crisis in China. So,
with that said, do you think that a lot of chatter is about the real estate? How could it sustain the levels? No one here, even when I bought my vacation home in my apartment, I didn't think I was buying the top of the market, and I tried to do it smart. I put the 20% down, and still, it's years later, it's underwater, and I have to sit and hold it while you have foreclosure mania in the U.S. And I know they think it can happen, but what's some of the steps? I think I read that they're making bigger deposits. Like China, you have to put 30, 40, 50% down on your second and third homes?
Well, I think what's important to keep in mind is that the real estate market in China is quite new and quite young compared to the American real estate market. So there's a lot of things that are not as formalized. Obviously, in China, one thing to know is that whatever you buy, it's owned by the government. So whatever you buy, you have like a 70-year lease on it, and then after 70 years, it's the government's property. So the notion of property in and of itself is completely different in China. That's number one. And number two, you're seeing a complete turnover of wealth where people literally had food stamps 20 years ago and now they're buying Lamborghinis. So in 20 years, you're experiencing wealth that people and nations experience in a generation or 3 generations. So that really does something to the psyche of Chinese people where they want everything to be bigger and better. They really are used to being the center of the focal point of the world, and you can see that now with so many things happening in Asia, the tech forums, the world forums, economic forums, and everyone's looking towards China.
As a leader, and they are emerging as one. And now it's a very special time in China right now. What started today? Everyone's talking about it, but what really goes on during the Chinese New Year?
You know, I actually miss it every year. I never get to go back, so I actually had chicken wings. But you're supposed to have dumplings. It's a sign of good luck to welcome the new year. And this year is the year of the rabbit. So if you were born in 1986, 7,
Right.
or every 12 years it's like a rabbit or.
And one of
tiger.
our editors you saw was wearing red around, and you noticed it.
Yes,
What's the
because
significance of
he
that?
told me that he was born the year of the rabbit, and in Chinese culture, it's actually bad to be for it to be your year. So it's his year. It's every 12 years, and to kind of fend off the bad luck that people think you get during your year, you're supposed to wear a red belt or maybe a red bracelet. And he actually was wearing a red belt and socks. So.
I didn't want to see what was going on underneath those socks, considering he's a soccer player, and I think they were his soccer socks from back in college.
We don't know what else he's wearing that's red.
Well, anyway, I feel very lucky to have Gloria here. She's a good friend. She's been helping
So
us
glad
out
to be here.
with our reach in China, and myself and Sperling will be making a trip to Beijing sometime in June, so we won't be here at the, with T3 Live, but we'll be opening doors that will be open to you as a subscriber. And once again, thank you for all your help, Gloria.
Thanks for having me.